Hi, everybody. What's everybody doing? We're hanging out and just bullshitting. And probably looking at stuff on the internet. We might play some video games. We will see. But for now, we are talking about whatever. What were you saying, Dustin, before I started the stream?
Something's going on YouTube or something with Eevee and Pokemon.
With what? With what?
Eevee and Eevee, Pokemon. I don't know whether it's on YouTube. Something was. I saw it somewhere. It might have been earlier today, but I could have swore it was like right after you asked me if I was getting on. So go to fucking YouTube. Stop being stupid. Oh my god. This computer is giving me the business right now. How many times do I need to sign in? Just fucking stay signed in. I don't understand. Is that not an option anymore?
I don't see anything
Go
in the
to
news.
YouTube.
Alright, can you stop complaining about the computer? I don't see anything worth talking about. Really. Just some community days I missed, which I don't care about. Stuff for Pokemon Unite, the card game. They're making full-size Evolution plushes. Applin has a Sweet Discoveries event on Pokemon Go. That might be over. I'm just... for a bigger, better, and wiser with Pokemon Go growing up event.
Dan cards.
King Gambit debuts in Pokemon Go. With the Crown costume, Nidoqueen and Nidoking. But that was May 6th. I don't even know if that's still going on. We just missed Palmy Community Day. And just mostly just card shit. Nothing I really care about.
It might have been just a card thing.
To be honest, though, with the way David's acting, I don't think Pokemon, besides like the main series games, I don't think Pokemon is going to be very big in my life, I would say. Besides the main series games. Like, we pretty much stopped playing Pokemon Go. We haven't played in months. I don't plan on playing for a long time, right? I didn't check all the streaming outlets. Cancel. I'll be doing that real quick. Before we do anything. But man, I'm looking at skateboard parts again, and I'm like, I wanna skate. Like today, I was bummed when it was raining. I skated yesterday too. It was fun, actually. Like, I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Like a shit ton. Like, even by myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, like I used to. Just making sure everything's running right. That is all. Yep, everything's good. So I was looking at skate stuff. Dustin knows I'm very picky about my skate stuff. I developed a board setup over what? A year and a half until I was happy with it? Something like that? It was a long time. Nothing super special. It was just taking parts that I wanted and adjusting them to how I wanted them. Things like that. Special little things. Like, the good stuff. Right, Dustin? Okay.
Ryzen 5 X7600 X3Ds for 180 piece. If I was building a bunch of fucking computers and had the money to buy them, I would definitely buy them and build a whole bunch of computers with Ryzen 5 7600 fucking X3Ds.
Yeah, but they have onboard graphics.
The
I know they
X3Ds
started putting them on some.
The
Yeah, I know they were putting them on
X3Ds
some. They might all now, for all I know. I have no idea. So Dustin, I think I have my setup.
I think it's the other way around now. I think it's some of them don't have it.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Because it used to be only the G's had it.
Well, the
Only
first series of Ryzen
any
was
AMD processor that had a G on the end had onboard graphics, but now
well the first series of Ryzen,
it's like
the
X3Ds, the X3Ds
brand,
have it.
The first gen of Ryzen's didn't have integrated graphics. I know that for a fact. I don't know when they started putting them in though. But basic flip deck. I don't need anything fancy graphics or anything. Just a basic flip deck. You know what pisses me off? Dustin? You know what makes you real mad about flip decks? No. You know what makes you really mad about flip decks now? Look where the top graphic is.
It's not at the top.
No, the top of the skateboard, not the nose.
Right where your foot
Look
goes?
where it is. No. If you remember, Element did this too. Both Element and Flip, and I'm sure other brands did it too. They were in between the trucks. Dude, the the rear truck. Tail truck. Do you not remember that?
It's been too long, bro.
Well, I always cut it out. Now I'm wondering if I even want to do that. That's the real question. Do I want to cut it out? I might. That will be more of a when I put it together, kind of, because I'm going to put it together. I'm not having someone else do it. I figure I go with a basic flip deck because Flip is my company. Always has been. I don't know if it always will be. Because I don't know though. I have to look, man.
Guess I gotta get a basic Element deck.
Dude, they're cheap nowadays. Skate decks are cheap as fuck. This is.
Yeah, the deck.
Remember when they were like $100? No, the completes are cheap too. I don't know if I can find a complete Element on this store because I don't even know if they have Elements on this store. I guess anymore. Element's been weird. Every time I look them up, they're like their website's down and. Their website's down and shit. Here you go. Here's a
There we
basic
go.
one. Not currently available. Of course.
Of course not. We don't know when or if this is gonna come back. Gotta love that one.
This is USA Skate. This is a deck though, right? It's complete. Dude, $104? That's cheap as fuck. What do you mean?
That entirely depends upon what trucks and wheels and fucking bearings.
Well, I mean, they're probably like a CCS
Cause it-
loadout, which is just like a basic truck. Probably made by the same people who make the independent trucks now. Because everything's made overseas now, so...
You're made overseas.
I mean, you can always change trucks later, though.
Yeah.
So they have a 7.75 and an 8-inch and an 8.25.
I'd probably go with the
For these two
825. I got
skateboards.
big feet.
Well, you used to ride 7.75.
Yeah, and I almost died.
It's on sale right now at Skateboard Warehouse for $69.99.
Of course, because I don't have $69.99.
The whole complete.
That's why I saw a sale. Because I ain't got it.
I don't know what's going on with Element. I mean, you could always pick another brand. I was
Yeah.
thinking about the other day. So I've been watching a lot of skate, like newer skate stuff.
Don't know. I just don't know what else I would get. I've always ridden Element. Except for the
Well-
few times I rode your board.
The board was fucking sick. It's gonna be sick again, Murrah. Gonna be fucking sick again. But no, I was looking at let me actually put a palette.
I missed my Element, his Infernal Majesty board.
That's too many E's. That's no E's.
Flock is blowing up my phone. Leave me alone.
Get the fuck up. Okay.
If you're not on
Now you
stream,
need to
I
hit this
don't want to
button.
hear from you. If you're not on the chat, get the fuck back.
The way, okay, so look at the shape of this fucking deck. I'm telling you, this kid Andy Anderson is a fucking autist when it comes to skateboarding. Like, complete autist. It's fucking insanity how autistic he is about it. You can get a Steve Calavarello. You can go with Pal Peralta. They always make good boards. Steve Cavallero has a Gundam.
Whatever keeps the dopamine flowing, man.
He's like beyond autistic on that shit, dude. Like it's crazy.
He probably just designs boards that gets the dopamine fired up.
Well, look at the shape, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Look
It
at the shape.
probably gets his dopamine fired
No.
up. I don't know about his life.
He designed this whole shape, right? And it all does stuff.
It probably fires up his dopamine.
No, it actually does things. Like this shape he designed.
Saying it doesn't.
Like this is like fucking insanity. Like look how flat that back, the nose, and the tail are, but they're not. right?
I see it.
Look at it, Dustin.
Yeah, I see it.
Just like so, like it's round, but it's not round. I don't know how else to say this. That's all I got. He also developed the grip tape. Have you seen that fucking thing? Grip tape. And I'll show you why it's weird. It's weird in like the best way possible. Here it is. Look at this. Look at this. You see this?
Just makes it easier to cut out a design. I'm not really.
Nah. So, you see these lines, right?
Yeah.
They're all channels. So in between the lines are channels, right? They're all channels. They all do something. Could you imagine if we had this on our deck back in the day when we were learning?
I might not have almost died. I probably would have almost
Anyways,
died.
if you look,
Knowing me.
so if you look, right? So between the red, right? You're gonna have stable pop no matter what, right? Like if you put the ball of your foot in the red, you're gonna have stable pop. This works on skateboards with a certain wheelbase, so you have to have that wheelbase. So he's mapped out everything for every kind of trick and the variations of that trick. So like for instance, you have basic heel flip and kick flip, right? Right here, right? Kick and heel, right? But he also has the ones drawn up for the nose kick or the nose heel. Also, this red line, not only does it say, hey, this is where your center of pop is, but it also tells you pretty much where to put your foot for like tray flips, inward heel flips, shit like that. Right? On top of that, you see this little triangle right here? Where this cursor is?
Right.
That's a dead zone. Now you can use it, and when you can use it, it looks crazy. But that's a dead zone for flip tricks. What usually happens to most people is that it'll do like a half flip. You'll hit a dead zone, and it'll hit a half, and it'll hit like a half flip, right? Or it won't flip really at all, right?
That's probably
because it's not catching the lip. It's not catching the curvature of the board on that lip. So, but the people who do use it, and people do, they make their kickflips look stupid, like slow. Like, you ever seen a really slow kickflip spin in normal time? Like, in normal speed video watching? And you see a kickflip?
It's weird.
That's real slow? That's what they're doing. Or a heel flip, that's what they're doing. They're hitting that triangle.
But you gotta hit it with, like, extra force to actually get it to go.
Or something, or they just figure out a way to make it work.
An extra little flick of the ankle.
But that whole idea is crazy. And his decks are completely symmetrical. So, like, you know how you have you have a front and a back to the skateboard? And usually the front, it's more flared out for kick flips, heel flips, and things like that on the sides. Right? On the rear, it's not as bad because most people aren't doing that. It's a little flared, but most people aren't flaring. It's not as flared, right? But his board's completely symmetrical. So he could do it both ways and not feel like he's going backwards. Right? Like his board isn't backwards. Also, he's like an autist. Just in general. I was learning about this kid, and this kid was insane. So, I'm probably just going to go with basic independence because they're cheap, good, and reliable. I've only had, with mid-range cups, I think they're mid-range, anyways. 30 Silverado hardware, the Pal Peralta boards, wheels that I used to have. Similar ones. Not the exact ones, but similar ones. Mine did have a dragon on it, but it wasn't these.
At what point in time?
Some bones. Some reds. Bones reds. They're not bad. They work. They always work good. Never had any problem with them. Never broke any either. But I also never broke the flip ones I had. Jessup grip tape, because at least they were good when we were kids. I found some independent softer plastic risers. Right? So like those lucky ones that I had that were soft.
Right.
And then I found rubber ones, because they're made for longboards, as they're made for. As well. So that should get me to as close as I can get to what for my old setup, right? Now the wheels might change. I might go to a little bit harder. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember the durometer on the duro thing on it, like which is like the softness and how long they last, or hardness and how long they last. So I was looking at. I will say the Pal Peralta wheels I've always loved to death. So not only just the ones that I've had, but other ones I've skated that are even hard. So they've always been like my favorite. I like the softer ones, but I was looking too, like there's a 90.
I don't even remember
right?
what wheels I had. Did I have the wheels to
You probably
the
had.
board? I think I had the same wheels to board.
I mean, I might go a little harder.
I think I got the Element wheels.
I might go a little bit harder. I'm just not
time,
quite sure yet.
At the time, we couldn't find your wheels.
Well, they make them. It's just they didn't look like mine. Like the graphic wasn't there. I just don't remember the actual wheel duro. So I went with 88, but I have a feeling it was closer to 90. But we'll see. Once I fuck around with it.
Yours is pretty fucking durable.
No, so the durometer isn't.
Yours lasted forever.
Well, they were also bigger. They're also just bigger, so they're gonna last forever. I had 50. I think they were 55s. These are 56s, so they'll last a little bit longer. But I got I'm thinking about getting the independent trucks, the hollows, because the axle and the kingpin are hollow, so a little bit lighter. And it's at like an 8 width for the axle ends. They're mids. That's a good thing. Let me pull up the thing, because that was happening. Mute if you're gonna cough.
Oh yeah.
Shorty's hardware, they're always good. Never had a problem with Shorty's hardware. Didn't always use them, but never had a problem with them. Yeah, just basic stuff that I'm looking forward to skate with. I'm gonna give the current skateboard that I have to my son with a new deck eventually, because the tail got busted because I slid out. And it it shot across the fucking skate park and hit one of the ledge walls and broke.
I love how my computer tells me that it's not gonna. Okay, we're not gonna go to sleep, but it will still try to go to sleep and lose all functionality and reset the whole thing. And I don't understand why.
I'm going wider than I'm probably. This is probably the no, because Tom Petty skated 8.5. So my last Tom Petty skateboard was probably 8.5.
It's not even
or
blue
825
screen at this point. It literally just reset.
So I'll probably get... How much is all of this? I've been wondering.
I already did that. I wonder if that might be it. That very well might be it. Well, I don't have Windows 11, but that's not the issue.
This is gonna be a pricey skateboard. $230-ish. Between $230 and $240. And I'm not buying expensive stuff. Like, but that's what happens when you want to build a board back to what it was. I really do wish I could get the Ventures that I used to, or the Tensors I used to have, but they want way too much money for them.
Because I ran a scan in the command prompt of system files. There's nothing wrong with my system files. Yeah, that's more than fine. Yeah, it's already doing that.
No, I said magnesium. Why you showing me Lance? Rodney Mullen slides. How much do they want for those? $100. It's not even worth it. What?
What the fuck is hybrid sleep? Okay, yeah, we can do that. But apparently you can't just sleep. You're not allowed. Why? What? 5. No fucking wonder. For some reason, Windows had my processor set up to where if it wasn't using 100% of the power, it was just going to shut off.
Dude, I would love to have these. I just wish they weren't lows.
No wonder my shit's all jacked up. It doesn't need to use 100% of the power. It can use like 5. If it doesn't need to use 100, it doesn't need to use 100.
What are you talking about?
My minimum processor power state was 100%.
Yeah, because you reinstalled everything and probably have an overclock on. The Windows automatically shot it up. You have to put it. You have to have that at up, and then
my maximum.
The overclock. You have to do the sit.
My maximum is. I don't care about the maximum. I care about it changing the minimum. The minimum state can be 5% if that's all the fucking processor needs.
But yeah.
That's crazy.
I think I found a good board setup.
Yeah.
Or do you think I should go with a slightly harder?
Are you using both?
wheel?
Are you using both of the risers or just the?
What's up, Reno? Yeah, I've always used both.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Dude, it's been fucking forever. The rubber and the plastic.
Yeah, I've used the soft plastic and rubber. That's the one thing that's been bothering me the most about skating. Right now, because I don't have any risers on my deck. Right now. So. But I'm wondering if I should.
Are those the same?
Yeah, but I'm wondering. Yes, but the graphic's different because the graphic doesn't exist anymore. But
seeing it sideways makes it look like it. Because looking at it dead on from the side, it doesn't look like it's the same shape because of the way the picture is and the way the colors of the wheel and the shine and everything. You can't really see the shape of the wheel. But seeing it laying on its side with another one.
I was thinking about going to 90. I was thinking about going to 90. This is 88. So
56 millimeter.
Yeah. I've always. What's up, Reno? How are you doing?
Although I do like the 50. I do like that last one.
What, these?
Yeah, I like them. I mean, granted,
I'm wondering if I should go with
graphics.
90 or not.
Is that a 90? Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because, I don't remember the exact wheel duro for it. So, I know it was around 90. That's what I know.
Or you could go with the...
the number 90,
or you could
not
go
in
with
the 90.
Or you could go with the one right before that, the rat bones, and get a big ass fucking 60 millimeter.
60s aren't bad. Let's go to 92 just to check it out. It's sketchy getting to that durometer.
What's the I
guess I don't have 92s.
Blue? What's the darker blue look like on the rat bones? Does it show you?
Just know the wheel's blue.
It changes the whole color, and then the lettering's white. Okay. I can't tell.
So this is where I'm at. I'm not sure whether to go with 88 or 90, because I don't care. Size doesn't matter. As long as it's between 50 and 60, 55 and 60, I don't give a shit.
Now I need to go to CCS because I want to look at all the color options.
Oh, well, this one is just different sizes. This one is also different sizes.
I kind of like the alternate for the first one. I do like that, but not as much. I would have to get a certain board for that. Now the one with that only has 2 colors, but it's the dragons, the white. Yeah, that I kind of like the alternate.
They're the same thing.
Regular.
They're the same thing, just different lighting.
No, it's a different dragon.
Oh, okay.
The dragon is slightly different. He's like longer and more. I don't know. It is a slight. There is a slight difference, but I can't. Oh.
I don't know. I wouldn't go with 54s.
I think that's the difference. It's the 54 or the 56. I honestly think that's the only difference. Because the one says 56 and the other one says 54. Now we feel dumb. Sitting there trying to... Oh, I like those green ones.
Yeah, they're pretty neat.
Oh, it comes
I don't know what...
Does it come in 56 in the green?
Comes with 50 and 58.
Yes!
Assuming that... I don't know how many sizes to 58.
I like that. Again, that's another wheel that I would have to get a certain board with.
Nah.
At the beginning.
I might go with the 60s.
If there's no green on my board, it would look dumb. I really like that Red Dragon Pal Peralta 60mm 90s. Oh, I like the Dragons one too. What is that more than 60?
It's a 64.
Yeah, I like that one too. But it's mainly just
debate is real.
I kind of wish
debate is real.
The same designs in all the wheel sizes.
Debate is real. Do I want
like
60s?
Granted, that Dragon one's only a 56, but
do I want 60s? Do I want
a 90?
What is?
The Pal Peralta Dragon with the black background, 56.
It's a 93A.
No, the 56 with the black background.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the softness of my wheels were, so I'm trying to figure that out.
The oval Dragon?
It was somewhere in the low 90s. I want to say it was like 90. Which makes you want to buy these 60 mils.
Nah, they were
definitely... I'm going to go with 90.
They were definitely
90
the Dragon formula.
Huh?
They were definitely the Dragon formula.
What, mine? 64s? They weren't that big. I know the size. They were 60s originally.
Were they the nano cubics?
No.
That's got to be a newer thing.
They're skinny.
Were they the Ovi Dragons? Or were they definitely 60s?
No. The oval dragons, no. They were definitely 60s.
Okay.
It had a dragon on it, but it wasn't that dragon. It was just like a green regular dragon. And actually, it was like the front of the dragon. You saw its wingspan, but they don't exist anymore, so...
Okay.
I mean, they might have something like that, but I know if it's a high durability, anything above 93, it ain't real. You know what I mean? That ain't the one I had.
Oh, I like those black ones, though.
That's way too soft, dude. That's like longboard
shit. I just like the look of them. If I could find
that would grip so hard. To do a power slide, it would take like every bit of strength.
If I could find harder ones in the same color, that'd be sick. Although I do like those.
I mean, technically these, but they're like way harder. For you, that might be fine. For me,
I do like those green ones.
The bones,
Yeah.
they're way too fucking big.
Oh, cool. The lemon blue look cool too.
They're way too.
Yeah. No.
Anything
I
above
mean,
60, you're getting into like
I'm not.
longboard to
Yeah, I'm
like
not arguing that
classic
point.
styled shape skateboards. Like Pal Peralta does that. They make like the 80s. They still make the 80s boards where it was like a penny board but huge, and the nose has curve to it, and it's got the curve of the for kickflips and shit on the edge. Like the one I had. Remember that giant fucking skateboard I had?
No, turn all that shit off. I don't need any of that shit.
I think I'm gonna go with 90s, and I think I'm gonna go with the 56s.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. How much are these? Not expensive.
Oh.
The best thing is I chose the best independents because they have the mid bushings,
I love how
the
Windows
mid hardness
security.
bushings.
I love that Windows security finally is ignoring the fact that I have uh, apps from external sources or whatever.
So
What's it called? App and browser control.
it probably won't be my favorite setup, but it will be the best I can do for the moment. I do want to try those new Grind Kings though. They look sick, and when I start doing stuff again on rail and walls and shit, I'll check them out. But for now, a classic set of independents with the soft or the mid hardness for
that's
their
right.
bushings.
It's Tuesday.
Bring your raincoat.
It's funny because it is raining here.
Raining here too. Fuck the
But
rain.
it's also Windows Update Tuesday.
Oh, it is the second Tuesday. I forgot what the date is.
I have the security update. So I was gonna see if I could upgrade to a Gen 8 processor.
You can. You're gonna need a motherboard.
Yep, I still need another motherboard. Because it's the Kaby Lake Gen 1. Or it's not the Plus. Gen 8 had it was like Kaby Lake Plus. Or some shit like that. I was like, are you... not only that, but for real, for a decent Gen 8 processor, it's like $400 for the ones I was looking at, and I'm like, for all that, I can just get a new processor. For 400 and some odd dollars, I can go to Micro Center and get a processor, a motherboard, and RAM in AM5 and DDR5, and still have money left over. I was looking at.
The real question is, should I purchase? That's what I'm wondering.
Since I have to build on a budget, and I do have a somewhat of a budget. Is that the ATX one? Because the tower I want is ATX. Yeah.
I do want to teach my son to skate, and for me to teach him how to skate, I need to start skating again. So.
Right. Oh no, I can't get that one. That motherboard is bad.
Let's see how much it's going to cost me.
I don't know. I was looking at a 7700X, but I don't like that motherboard.
Dude, stop showing me that. Stop showing me the clothing drop down. I don't care about the clothes. What the fuck? It like got stuck.
House 9600. Yeah, I don't really care about what AMD has to say about their own processor. No offense. 6 core 12. So the 5s are 6 core, the 7s are 8 core. But I have yet to find a Ryzen 5 above 6 cores.
Black base because it was soft. Should I go with soft?
I would love a Ryzen 9, but I can't afford a Ryzen 9. I think we're just going to go with a 78. I might get the 7800 X3D. And I can upgrade to rank for $10. Get some pretty lights. Yeah, we're just gonna go with the Corsair weapons. It's gonna be weird going from 4 sticks of RAM down to 2, but still having the same amount. And it'd be faster.
Not really.
It's gonna be visually to me. It's gonna be weird. I stare at my computer a lot.
Fucking weirdo.
I'm sorry, my computer's pretty.
Stare at
Now
my
where's
computer
my
like the
case?
first day it's built, and then I just don't even give.
Now where's my case? It took me forever to find this case on Micro Center. I'm so glad I did though, and it's around the same price. It, my stepdaughter's boyfriend has an NZXT case. I told him he was stupid. There it is. The
New ones are
game.
gay.
Huh?
The new ones are gay.
I hate NZX.
Used to make. I mean, I hate them now too. My case was sick. It's an NZX.
Yeah, but now they're like, now they're just as bad as like Apple and shit. Like they're full proprietary. If you get an NZXT case, nothing's gonna fucking work right with it unless it's NZXT.
That's not true at all. Like
But
this is not true.
I'm getting this Atlas M1 ATX mid tower.
The basic grip tape. Anything fancy?
It comes with 3 fans. I don't know. It looks like it comes with those little, I don't know. Fans are fans. Stick with me. I guess I'm just sticking with Asus.
That's cool.
They have decent motherboards for decent prices though. I can't really shit on them for their motherboards. Like their graphics cards are
I can.
ridiculous.
They break constantly. Everything on Asus makes breaks constantly now. It's really annoying. Same with MSI. They've really gone down in quality in the past like 5 years.
Oh, I was about to
say.
And
they're not horrible, but
I was
like,
about
their
to
shit breaks
say
constantly.
my Asus fucking ROG Prime Z270 has lasted over a decade, and I have been not the gentlest motherfucker with this thing. But if you're talking about within the last 5 years, then yeah. I don't think I need a power supply.
All I'm buying from CCS, the other two, Amazon, Air.
I'll probably get new thermal paste. Because by then, the thermal paste, well, it's also like generic thermal right brand thermal paste.
The debate is real. $200? That's actually not bad. I think after it was all said and done, I think my deck cost me with like turning out bushings and riser pads and things like that. It was probably closer to like 4 bearings, wheels.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't even buy this thermal paste. TF4.
What thermal paste?
The thermal right. The thermal paste.
Just buy some. Just buy some thermal grizzly.
Thermal grizzly.
Everything but the. All their stuff works great.
This Arctic Cooling MX4. Why is that?
It's okay.
Why is that one got 5 stars and the other one's got fucking 3, and it says the same thing? That's very confusing.
Alright, I'm closing the window because
there's so much thermal paste.
I have things to fill out.
Thermal grizzly. Oh, hot. 1 gram. Actually, that's all you really need.
You just need a small tube.
Yeah, what the fuck do you need 5.5 grams for? Unless you're making like 12,000 computers.
No. It's good to have around and keep sealed in a bag, in like a plastic bag.
Yeah, if you're consistently building computers or you're consistently rebuilding, but it's got an expiration. By the time you go to clean your
Yeah.
computer, it's time to go get more thermal paste.
No, not necessarily. Depends on how you store it.
Oh, mine
I got
says
free 2 day
mine.
shipping. No, I don't. It's only if I have CCS Plus.
I should have just used this. I already have thermal grizzly. I bought some a while ago. I don't even think it's open yet. I have Arctic Silver 5 thermal compound, and I have. Oh no, this is ID Cooling. That must have been the one I got from the. I must have used all the thermal grizzly. But I have some Arctic Cooling or Arctic Silver 5 that looks like I haven't even touched it, and some ID Cooling from when I got the one AIO from same company, obviously.
Okay.
And then I have the tube of, because they gave me like a ridiculous amount. They gave me like an entire 3.5 grand tube of freaking, it might even be more than that, of thermal paste for one fucking cooler. Like,
Oh.
why I need all that thermal paste for one cooler? You could have just given me a
I
little 1 gram and then it'd been fine. Why are you throwing all this thermal paste at me?
depends on how much what your
I definitely don't need no 3 grams of thermal paste on one processor. That's a lot of thermal.
hmm.
Thermal pads for my N.2s would be nice if
How fast are these gonna
uh,
come in? That's
if
way
I
too low
had
for those
heat
independent.
if I had heat sinks for my, but I'm fairly certain that it's on the board. It might have built-in heat sinks for the M.2, at least one.
Is there any on Prime? That's my question.
Yeah, no, yeah,
That's their hard
I just,
risers.
yeah, I just want to see the logo. I need to see it. Bigger picture. Yeah. It's got two M.2 slots, one of them with the heat sink, one of them without. Oh, it's got three M.2 slots. I lied. Oh, I'm getting fancy now. One of them with a heat sink, two of them without.
I'm not waiting that long.
Two lighting headers.
The riser pads, not shock pads.
Two RGB headers.
I guess I am waiting that long because they're assholes.
Force data. Two RGB.
Are these eighth or quarter?
to
Hey, what the fuck are these? Are these foam?
USB 2 headers, which is good. I don't know how that screen plugs in. Okay, it's fucking cool.
What's the thickness of them?
Does it have Bluetooth?
Okay.
Onboard Wi-Fi. Bluetooth 5.3.
Can I see them? Can I go to the description, please?
Power supplies are 2.
They're 1/8 inch. Okay.
Yep. Fully mine. I'm not buying it.
None of these are on. None of these are on those. Pretty full though.
I guess EVGA isn't making power supplies anymore.
Yeah, they are. They're just expensive. They've always been expensive.
I'm not trying to have to replace my power supply, to be honest. Should be just fine. 1200 fucking watts. Fully modular. I don't have a 50 series card, so I don't have to worry about it burning down.
I wish these shot pads were on. Prime, but they're not, which is annoying.
Build total less than $700. Because I'm using the graphics card. Probably the same cooler. Not gonna have a choice.
Alright. Should have a box of skate shit coming in the next 2 days. Yeah, everything's correct. Flip deck, Jessup grip tape, Doherty Silverados, Bones Reds, Alperolta Skateboards, Independent. Be here by sometime soon. And I won't get my independent ones for like till Monday. Which my independent riser pads till Monday, which sucks. But this one comes with 2 rubber pads. I'll just stack them for the moment and get close to what I can get. I use Gmail, right? I think I did. So my whole deck, except for the independent riser pads, will be here by Friday. So there's that. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go take a leak. Get a drink. I'll be a lot more confident with that board because my biggest problem with the current board that I'm using really is the wheels. Because they're just some old Spitfires I had laying around still. And they feel like they're going to disintegrate. So, but yeah.
21 hours until Doom.
Is it coming out to tomorrow or whatever?
Apparently in 20 hours and 58 minutes.
That's cool.
According
What?
according to the Xbox Game Pass store app thing on PC. I'm mad that the
Oh, we gotta watch this. This is kind of insane.
This is the most upgraded Walmart bike on planet Earth.
Stop. And let me fucking pause, you fucking piece of shit. Jesus Christ. God damn. Fuck. Anyway.
what's that?
Literally nothing.
It already came out?
It probably came out for people who are buying it.
That's not-
This is the most upgraded Walmart bike on
Oh, I
planet
have to
Earth.
wait 58 days.
It has new suspension, wheels, tires, cranks, bearings, handlebars, pedals, and everything in between. It's literally impossible to upgrade it anymore.
This is
And
that new
all told,
suspension
even
bike that
factoring
Walmart
in
put out
discounts you might
that
find,
looked really
this
good.
is over $6,000 in parts. But did we make it better? What does it weigh now? And what could we have bought for the same money we put into this thing? Does it perform like a high-end mountain bike? Well, it had better, because if it doesn't, then we know once and for all that it's impossible. I'm Seth from Burn Peak. I've upgraded many bikes, but never like this. The bike we started with was that same $450 Ozark Trail FS2 I reviewed in the last video. And many of you thought my review was too critical, that I was expecting too much out of a $450 Walmart bike. But I didn't deny this bike was impressive for the price, and maybe even historically impressive. I was simply pointing out that there are other great deals to be had that ride better right out of the box, and so I do stand by my review. But I did get a couple of things wrong which I'd like to correct. First of all, I didn't notice the link in front of the rear axle, which means this is technically horsed link. That means it may perform better than I thought, and it's definitely the first bike at this price point with such advanced linkage. I also said you need to invest a minimum of $750 to make this a good trail bike, but that's based on what I want to do with it. Many commenters detailed more economical upgrades that work for them, upgrades that put smiles on their faces. And that's all the proof I need to hear to concede that I was wrong. You can't argue with a smile. But we're not doing economical upgrades today. In fact, we blew way past the diminishing return $5,000 ago. And while this might seem a bit tone deaf right now, this was mandated by the people. You wanted me to upgrade the snot out of this thing. So here's exactly what I did. I started by weighing the stock FS2, which came in at 38 pounds or 17 kilograms. Then I stripped off all the parts right down to the frame, even removing the headset bearings. Then I saved all the takeoff parts because why not? With the bare frame on the stand, we could observe that horsed link in action. Next up, bearings. I threaded a Cane Creek Hellbender into the bottom bracket shell and pressed the Hellbender headset into the head tube. These are the best bearings you can get, and naturally, the first thing you might do when building up a bike from the frame. First on the list was getting the new rear shock installed, a Fox Factory Float SL. Now, it's true that others have upgraded the shock on this bike, but there's no telling what kind of fitment issues they were willing to live with. I visited my friend Gabe at Fox Factory, and he basically said I was on my own.
Well, we're gonna have to get a little creative. The pins that they were using are not a standard size, so we're basically gonna have to cobble something together that works.
Gabe gave me whatever hardware he could find, and I got to work grinding and 3D printing, eventually getting the shock to fit in a way that made me feel confident. Your mileage may vary depending on exactly what kind of shock you're
A
installing.
washer? Okay.
With the shock installed, I moved on to the cranks. And since we pulled out all the stops on this build, of course, we chose Cane Creek E-Wings, an ultralight, super stiff titanium crankset. E-Wings require titanium assembly compound and a torque wrench for installation, a far cry from the tools that came with this bike. It's arguably not possible to upgrade E-Wings because what would you upgrade them with? Then we installed the fork, a Fox Factory 34 SL at 120 millimeters.
It's not even a Walmart bike.
120.
This is exactly right for this bike. SL means it's lighter. This bike's gonna be a lot lighter. Next, a Bontrager RSL handlebar and stem, which is a one-piece carbon fiber cockpit. This is gonna hurt some people's feelings. Naturally, this is where we put all the good stuff, like the SRAM Motive Ultimate brake levers. These hydraulic brakes are all new, very powerful, and they use mineral oil instead of dot fluid. A welcome change for someone who regularly spills brake oil everywhere.
That's cool.
Before we install the brake rotors, we need to mount some tires to these wheels. Industry 9 wheels. These are handmade in Asheville right down to the spokes, which are individually laser etched with the company logo. Wrapped in Maxxis tires, you can't really go wrong. We're using a fast-rolling forecaster in the rear and a knobbier dissector up front. For the cassette, we saved some money and went with SRAM GX, but it still costs half what this bike does. You can always identify an i9 hub by its signature free hub note. And although I considered installing wireless shifting on this beast, we went with plain old Eagle X01, so the future owner doesn't need to keep track of batteries. With most of the bike together, I could run all the cables and hoses through the frame, including the rear brake hose, which needs to be cut, reinstalled into the lever, and bled in case any bubbles got in. Also through the frame, we needed a dropper post release and a damper control for the shock, but there's only one port. Luckily, they included cable bosses on the down tube, so we didn't need to drill into the frame, although I was tempted. That switch gives me lockout control on both the shock and the fork simultaneously, plus a release for the Fox Transfer SL, a featherweight dropper post if there ever was one. But I couldn't use it, because there's a big bend in the seat tube, and this bike is a size small.
Oh my God.
But I had a race face dropper post in the parts bin that fit great, so we were back in business. This dropper post is not as lightweight, but it's just as fun. To get the shifting up and running, we installed a gold XX1 chain, which complements those Kashima coatings quite nicely. Finally, we did the finishing touches, an ergon saddle to go with that dropper post, and of course, Crank Brothers Stamp 7 pedals. And with that, it was time to throw this bike on the scale.
Lost 7 pounds. Almost 8.
Oh man!
At just under 31 pounds, we shed over 7 pounds off of this bike, much of its spinning weight, more than any bike I have ever upgraded and more than any bike I ever will upgrade. Every time I grab this bike, I can't believe how light it is, but right about now, it's time we took a good long stare at this thing. And now, it's time to ride it. But actually, I already climbed up here with it, and unsurprisingly, it feels a lot better. It's stiffer, much quieter, and the weight savings are noticeable. The weight savings in the wheels and drivetrain especially have slashed the spinning weight, and that's the most important kind of weight. And overall, it just has a totally different vibe. It doesn't feel like a $450 bike at all. And with all these high-end cross-country parts on it, that is, light, responsive parts designed for pedaling and rider input, we should expect it to feel better on climbs. But what actually makes it climb better are the tires and suspension. Not only are these new tires way more substantial, but we're also running them at much lower pressure without inner tubes, so they have more traction. And yes, the suspension feels like it's from a different galaxy, and although I have these lockouts to make it stiffer for climbing, it feels great with or without it engaged. But I'm not much of a climber, and so, to get a real pulse on this bike, we're gonna need to get rowdy. All right, first descent on the Ozark Trail bone saw. Okay. Probably should add some volume tokens, but pretty good so far. Wow. This suspension's from a different planet. It's so much quieter.
That looks like so much fun.
It is now. Just
I mean, I'm
fucking
kind of
boring.
speechless. I don't know what I was expecting. We're making pretty good time here. No weird creaks or rattles, just all these cables rattling a little bit. All right, here comes the rock garden. Hope nobody else is out here because I want to cream it. Oh yeah. Whoa. Okay. I went a little too hard back there.
If the bike's not
Wow.
broken, you didn't go too hard.
Oh man. I'm having way too much fun on this thing. I love cross-country bikes that feel like trail bikes, and that's what this is a short travel trail bike. It's 120 in the front, and I think it's 100 in the rear, and I'm having fun on it, and it feels good. Let's go back to the workshop and get into more detail. The first thing I noticed when I started descending, this bike is way quieter than it was, and that's really important because sound is feedback. When you're giving it your all, that sound guides your decisions. So when the bike is noisy and all the different parts are making different rattles from every direction, it's hard to guide your decisions. Now you feel the trail instead of all the rattling. It's consistent, but does it feel like a high-end bike? Yeah, kinda. If you compare it to a high-end alloy bike, it feels almost indistinguishable up front. This is as good a fork as exists, and so as expected, it feels way smoother, but the rear feels interesting. I definitely felt some weird creaks and flexes here and there, which I'm hoping will self-heal over time. It's noticeable, but not always. I was actually very surprised by how it felt. It felt a lot better than I was expecting. Let's say this looked like a high-end bike in every way, and instead of Ozark
Honestly,
Trail, it said Specialized.
that's probably
on it.
the
But it felt
hardware
like
that they're
this.
using
Anyone
for that
who has ridden a
rear
high-end mountain bike
suspension.
would notice something was off. They would take it to the bike shop and say, this doesn't feel right, I can't really explain it. I mean, look at the linkage. Beneath those spacers is a long 8mm pin connecting two separate aluminum plates. Almost all modern mountain bikes have a one-piece rocker, which is of course much stiffer. Compare this to my Revel Ranger, or a much better comparison might be that alloy Status we built up for Chase. It's easy to see how simply upgrading the parts doesn't address everything. But with that said, it's really impressive. When I had this bike up on the stand, I noticed that the linkage just wasn't as smooth as a high-end bike, unsurprisingly. So if you were wondering if this feels like a $6,500 bike now that we put $6,000 worth of parts on it, the answer is sadly no. And in fact, it doesn't even feel like a $2,000 bike, but in other ways, it feels better. It's a really strange and spooky sensation. But remember, this frame probably
you
cost
take
something
that
like $80. And so based on that, I have no complaints whatsoever. It's kind of amazing.
The shock
Nothing
mount,
has
they
rattled
wouldn't
loose.
made
The
this one.
linkage is well put together for what it is, and I don't really
Oh,
have
this
that
is
many
aluminum.
repairs to make to this
Just
thing,
get a
mainly
CNC.
adjustments and changes. But
Or
we're
even
gonna
laser
test
printed.
it a lot more. I'm taking it to Whistler. So one ride was no problem, nothing is broken, but a lap at Whistler could break some things loose. And so, I'm gonna get to know this bike a lot better and find out if this linkage holds up, because with all these parts on it, our FS2 might be able to write some checks that it can't cash. Now, we've been joking, or not actually joking, about doing just this since the very first time I reviewed a department store bike 10 years ago. And the main thing holding us back was that we couldn't actually install high-end parts because they wouldn't fit. But now they do, more or less. The last thing holding us back was that through axle, and this frame takes one, so we were able to install those i9 wheels and everything else. The fact that you can now do this to a Walmart bike is incredible. But like I said, we're not done. And so seeing that upgrading this economically would provide a lot of useful lessons for people, was this a big waste of time? Did we learn anything? Well, yes, actually, this is all good news because upgrading the tires alone will give you huge gains, and even an entry-level air fork will shed 2 pounds off this thing. A $60 crank set will likely shed a full pound, and if upgrading a department store bike with all these high-end parts tells us anything, it's that although the diminishing return on upgrades is in fact steep, you can go a long way in making one of these bikes a lot better. And honestly, were this a hardtail with a through axle, I think the difference between it and a high-end alloy bike would be even more nuanced. We couldn't have done this project without going bankrupt if it wasn't for Fox, Cane Creek, Industry 9, and SRAM, to name a few. We called people we knew at these companies and were like, hey, so hear us out, we've got this little project, and they were willing to contribute some serious parts for a pretty dumb project, which surprised even me. But this is the single biggest change I've ever felt on any bike I have ever upgraded. By far, and hands down the largest weight savings. The suspension fork and the wheels probably made the biggest difference, but also the old crankset was insanely heavy. And it's worth mentioning that we added a dropper post and bigger tires while still shedding all that weight. We're not finished seeing what the bone saw can do, but assuming it proves to be safe and holds up, we're donating it, and we'll let the NICA coaches in Asheville decide who ends up with the bike. So I hope you'll saddle up and come along with me on this journey. I hope you learned something today, and if you didn't, I hope you at least found this video entertaining. Thanks for riding with me today, and I'll see you next time.
That's crazy we've gotten to that point.
Right?
We've gotten to the point. I don't know, man. Goosebumps, the books, has a YouTube channel, and they did a season 2 marathon of Goosebumps, the show.
That's cool.
What else should I look for? What game is this? Ooh, Hassan Pike got arrested. Nice. Nice. Where did he get arrested? Do something the fuck out. Don't listen to anything I did.
None of it. Oh. Oh no, I know what game that is. What?
Who's outraged? I'm not outraged he was arrested. Should be arrested.
Who?
Champagne socialist streamer Hassan Piker claims U.S. immigration.
Can you pause?
Champagne socialist streamer Hassan Piker claims U.S. immigration officials attempted to detain him permanently after they allegedly stopped him for questioning when he arrived from France to Chicago over the weekend. In a 40-minute live stream, Piker recounted the incident, alleging that agents bombarded him with questions about his views on Hamas, hinting at what he described as an attempt to build a case against him. They straight up tried to get something out of me that I think they could use to basically detain me permanently, Piker told his audience, insisting that he kept his responses firm and repetitive. I kept repeating the same statement over and over again. I kept saying, I'm on the side of civilians. I want the endless bloodshed to end. I am a pacifist. I want wars to end, he claimed. Piker, who has cheered both Hamas and Houthi terrorists on his platforms, portrayed himself as bravely stonewalling the agents' questions, even as he is known for repeatedly calling Israelis inbred and defending some of the most extreme positions regarding the October 7th Hamas terror attack against Israel that left more than 1,200 people dead. The far-left streamer claimed that the detention was part of a broader effort to create an environment of fear and suppress dissenting voices like his. Nothing I have done online is illegal as of now, he said, warning that laws may change in the future and they might actually start prosecuting speech, which I do fear is the goal of this administration. Despite his claims of oppression, Piker is widely known for his lavish lifestyle, driving a $200,000 Porsche, living in a multi-million-dollar home in West Hollywood, and raking in millions of dollars a year from his online streaming ventures. During the 2 hours he claimed he was detained, Piker said he feared that Customs and Border Protection agents would seize his phone or laptop, although neither was confiscated. His elaborate recap of the alleged incident comes amid a trend of influencers and activists posting exaggerated stories of brushes with immigration officials for online celebrity. Over the weekend, an anti-Trump TikTok user named Eye of Sav posted a video claiming she was held for hours while immigration and customs enforcement agents inspected her phone and social media accounts. DHS, however, publicly disputed her claims, calling them false and clarifying that her inspection was a routine, lawful process that occurs daily for many travelers, regardless of political affiliation. Claims that her political belief triggered the inspection are baseless. Our officers are following the law, not agendas, DHS said in its response.
He was in town to speak at the University of Chicago, but says he was detained for several hours at O'Hare and questioned about his political beliefs.
Why are you still talking?
Twitch streamer is lying for likes. Our Sarah Maki is live at O'Hare and looking into this tonight. Sarah.
Dude, what the fuck is going on?
Hi, here's my skateboard. There's Raj. Hi, I'm Andy. It's my skateboard. Pal Peralta represents Skate 1 setup. Woo! So this is my board. It's really special to me, you know? It's kind of like my baby. And there's so much I can say, it's hard to figure out the thing to say. Like,
this is his first one,
I designed this board. So the first board I designed was a little bit bigger than this. And this one, this is like as small as I could go, or I would want to go. My first board was a 913, and it had a 15-inch wheelbase. This is a 14.5 wheelbase. So a regular board is a 14-quarter. So this is a 14.5. In the 90s, early 2000s, regular board was a 14. So it's just like a little bit longer. But the nose and tail, where the board's actually pressed, where the nose and tail start is the same as Powell's 14.25 wheelbases. So the nose and tail are still where you kind of feel like they're gonna be in that sense, but the trucks are a little spread out. The main thing that made me want to change my shape up was the fact that when I was training for the Olympics, I had the exact same setup for years. And not only did that include the board, but that means the exact same truck and bushing setup, the exact same wheels, and it was specialized for bowl skating at that point. So I had 56 millimeter wide cut wheels for years, and that was holding me back in other things in order to progress in bowl. So when I got out of competition after the Olympics, I was just like, I want to learn more stuff. I want to expand into the areas that I felt limited in. Yeah, so the other board was for everything. And this board is more specialty, I'd say. It pops higher, it flips faster, and it's overall moves quicker. I wanted to experiment with a smaller size board. Stacy Peralta once told me, try a smaller board, and I was so digging in my heels. I'm not gonna do anything smaller. This is the perfect size. I found it. And then years go by and I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll try something a little smaller. And I was like, I could do the exact same shape, but in new dimensions. And then I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna do all new dimensions, I'm gonna do an all new shape. I'm gonna experiment with some stuff. And I really wanted to toy with symmetrical shapes. So I kind of took my favorite corner of my last board after it was all worn in and then flipped that on each side and then made it a whole new size. So the boards are almost uncomparable just because of the size difference. Like if you skate the one and you skate this one, it's gonna feel so different because of the shape, but a lot of it's because of the size as well. Yeah, so one of the most important features of my board is this curve right here. And I carbon copied this curve from here to here from my last board's nose. That was like my favorite curve on the whole board, was the way that the nose curved. My last tail was designed with all these pressure pockets in mind. This one has less focus on the pressure pockets and more focus on just the curve and trying to keep the whole thing one solid curve. So the curve acts as my primo tail, or primo nose, and that allows me to flip both like the regular primo flip way and then this kind of stranger primo flip way where you can get into truck stand and pogos. It's just a super important curve for those tricks. Yeah, that's the intention. Take a freestyle board and make it super skatable. Like I've hung out with freestylers around Venice even, and we're skating the handball courts because the ground is so good. And then like, okay, let's go grab a water down the street, and they pick up their board and walk there. Because freestyle boards just sometimes aren't fun to ride. Like they're great for doing the tricks, but to actually ride around is treacherous because the trucks are so tight, the wheelbase is so small. It's like easier to just walk at that point. Like my board works great for freestyle, but a lot of the freestyle tricks require like tiny, tiny wheelbases. It's just easier the smaller the board is. So this is technically easier because it's smaller, right? So I'm just playing with the sizing and where my feet are and how wide my stance has to be. What I think is really cool about this board is a lot of pros will have their board that's out for sale, and then they'll have the board that they're actually riding in competition. So like maybe Schmidt's building them a board and then printing the graphic from whatever their sponsor is on it. And that board's always changing, but the board that's in the industry, the board that's in the market is somewhat generic. So this is more like my experimental board for me, not for the market. But it is in the market, that's the thing. So it's a trip, it's a cool experience, because I want to skate what Day One skates, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like I'm sure his board is tricked out super weird to the point that it probably wouldn't sell very well if it was sold exactly as he skates it. But that's interesting to me, like I want to skate what these guys are skating. So that's what this is. This is exactly what I'm skating and experimenting with, and it evolves with my skating. It's a trip. It was really a change of pursuit that gave me the change of shape. from trying to encompass everything to trying to really focus on 90s and early 2000s skateboarding. Just requires a smaller board. You don't need it. You can literally do any trick on any board, but there's these minute differences that help you play in certain favors. There is so much about this board. Like the fact that like this squareness right here isn't fully square. It's a slight curve, and how much that helps with pogos and primos. And when you're popping, if it's fully square, unless the tail is concaved, then you're either popping off of this corner or this corner. But just the slightest curve, as long as there's a curve, it doesn't have to be visible to the eye. That allows you to pop off of like broader surfaces and get more pop out of your tail. So like so many experiments go into just simplifying it into what it is. And when you look at it, you go, damn, that's such a simple curve. But there's like so much tech in this, man. It's hilarious. Like this is my 14th rendition. So there was 14 almost identical boards that were rejected. I've tailored it so far down that it is just, it's helping me progress in the way that I wish to progress. The rails are slightly curved as well. So the curve of the rail is equivalent, I was told, to a 200-foot circle. Does that make sense? So like if this curve just kept continuing, it'd make a 200-foot circle. It's just random info. But that helps it so it doesn't chip. Like when you're slamming at a skate park, like at Stoner or something, and the ground's super flat, when you throw your board out, it'll just shoop and scoop up, so it doesn't smack the ground like an action. Having it a little wider in the center and narrower in the tips helps focus the balance point. So the balance point's already in the center, but it just brings all the weight right there. So when it's rotating, it rotates super central. So it makes tray flips predictable. So I really wanted to do an egg board, but what happens with egg boards is the nose and tail gets so narrow so quick. So it ended up being a much subtler egg than I was originally shooting for. But it was hilarious. Like it would be an 8.7 here, and it would be just a little bit more curved, and it would be a 7.75 tail. And I was like, what is happening? So for me to have a reasonably sized tail, it would have to be like 9.5 to keep that real egg look. And I was like, egg look can be sacrificed, but the curved surface can't be. So I was like, how subtle can we make it? Ended up 200-foot circle is the way. It's just a solid board. And then having the fact that it's fully symmetrical makes it so that you do not have to look at your board when you're skating. So I had one really solid session on this. You can see it's like fully worn identically on both sides. Like it's just such a blessing to not have to look and to do any trick followed by any trick. You're not worried like, okay, I did a shove it, now I gotta do a varial heel to like get my board back, or vice versa. It unconstricts you. You don't have to pivot. You can just do a body varial in the middle of your push, or it's just like you can do a frontside flip and then push and put your shoulders back, but now your board's backwards, but it's never backwards. It's a trip getting used to it. Yeah. Like that first time that you throw it down without looking, you're like, what is going on? 14 iterations, so just over a year I worked on this, which is like 2 iterations a month. That's kind of crazy. The kicks are identical, which is interesting that Powell would do that. So their the kicks are absolutely symmetrical. But how you can mess with that is if you have the trucks further back, like both of them, then it feels like this would be the nose because the kick is going to start quicker. So if the holes are drilled slightly off, it's no longer symmetrical, no matter how symmetrical the board itself is. I think that holds a lot of brands back from coming out with symmetrical boards because there's a lot of faulty things, and it's kind of a tricky situation because the margin for error has to be so small. It has to be so small for full symmetry to be felt. In the process of me testing this, I would be like, this isn't symmetrical. And they're like, yes, it is. And I'm like, no, it's not. And they're like, yes, it is. And I'm like, I look at it, looks symmetrical. I do a tray flip one way, feels great. Tray flip the other way, eat shit. Like, why is it so different? And it's because the hole drilling was just off by a millimeter, like a hair. The difference is huge. It's crazy. So being able to dial it in and get 5 boards and 5 of them are symmetrical is amazing. Yeah. I don't want to dis-advertise my last board by advertising this one because they are 2 separate beasts. And this one being what it is doesn't take anything away from my last board being what it is. It's its own creature. And whenever I skate it, I can feel that. You know what I mean? It's got a vibe around it. The size of it, the foot placement, it's its whole thing. And when I skate it good and I feel great. And I just wanted to play around, and you know, it's just beautiful to be able to explore the trick selection, explore skateboarding as broadly as I can, and have someone like George on my back that allows me to do this, that allows me to experiment, and then not only that, brings it to the public, and then public goes, we can go, what do you think now? And that's just beautiful. Because it took me 2 to 3 weeks to transfer from my last board to this board, and that isn't the shape, that's the size I'm talking about. Yeah, so that's perfect actually. So here's my last board. This curve right here is exactly the same as this curve. That's like the best primo tail. And then this tail, when it wears down, looks like that. Like, it's kind of, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Here's a worn down version, and you can see how that curve forms from those sharp edges, and then how that just lines up with that curve. This is the process. Okay, I get my board down to a point where I'm like, yes, it's skating so good. Take a mental image, carbon copy from here to here, and then carbon copy from here to here, and then put this corner there with this curve there, and then once you have that, put that on all sides. Right. And then the rails just kept going out because I wanted to try frickin' egg shape. Okay, so I always ride the Powell ribs. These are solid, you know, they're really thin, kind of lightweight. They slide really good, man. They really help with grabs, and then I kind of bow them out a little bit. So that makes the profile from this way with the concave, makes them kind of go like this. When you put in the rails, the flight deck's a little thinner than a normal board, so they do stick out a little bit. Not to the point that they'll poke through, but they just like leave a little pimple almost. So I like to put my rails on before my grip. I've been skating rails since I was 11. Like, I have footage of me with Powell rails at age 11, just shredding the bowls. Okay, trucks. So full Skate 1 setup. So everything that's not Powell pretty much is mini logo. So I got mini logo trucks, mini logo bushing, and then I got a top bushing of the Bones Hard. So it's pretty hard, pretty tight truck, to be honest. I like my trucks to be so tight that I can do one wheel wheelies. It's kind of the deal breaker for me. Like, if I can put all my weight on one side and I don't get wheel bite, that's a perfect truck. I want it to turn as much as possible. So the mini logos turn super good. They're actually designed for kids, I feel like, the mini logo trucks. So they're really low and they have really sharp turning radiuses. So they come on all the Powell setups, and they're super light. So if you look at the base plate, it's all kind of this curved shape. It's all hollow under there. Like, they're super engineered trucks. It's actually hilarious. And then George curved the hanger this way. Okay. So when you get brand new trucks, it doesn't feel like you're just on a clothing rack bar. You know, you kind of have some lock-in ability. And they're actually also curved this way. But that is, without telling people that that's on purpose, people assume that the trucks just come bent. So the axle isn't curved, but the truck itself, the hanger, is curved this way for locking in, and then this way for locking in on like 5.0s and crooks and stuff. So I got little risers, and that's because the mini logo trucks are super low. So I put the little mini logo risers in there, and that kind of makes it like a regular truck height. Okay, the wheels are experimental. When these wheels come out, they're not gonna look like this. They're gonna look similar though. Yeah, very deep. So they cover the axle. And that is freestyle forward. So freestylers need to cover their axles. My whole theory on why wheels don't cover the axle, because it's like, why should they? Well, why shouldn't they? So my whole theory is Steve Rocco making like crap quality wheels that you need to rotate, so then you have symmetrical wheels that you can rotate all the time. So what's the reason for symmetrical wheels? So you can rotate them. Other than that, I don't see a reason. That's the funny thing, dude, is symmetrical board, asymmetrical wheel, opposed to the opposite, asymmetrical board with a symmetrical wheel. So having this wheel covering the axle, there's just so many benefits. Like, you never have to worry about your axle getting mushed up. When you're doing primos and stuff, you can actually do coconut wheelies. I don't know if you've ever seen people do those, where they're not primo, they're actually on the wheel, standing primo, and they can bomb a hill like that or go down a slope. That's impossible if your wheels don't cover the axle. So you see freestylers do it on Instagram, and then you go try to learn it. You can't. It's like not a physical capability. But where do you get the freestyle wheels? Well, these super niche companies, right? So trying to come out with a freestyle wheel also isn't the best idea for marketing. There's not a huge crowd that's trying to buy freestyle wheels. So this is more.
Do you see how autistic he is about this?
Type deal. You would not believe how much this helps with slappies and wall rides. Because when you're approaching a wall now, nothing's hitting but wheel. Like you're going somewhere on the wall, no matter what. You come off, you don't ever hit that primo. It's like it's a wheel there now. Like you're always hitting a wheel. And then on the inside, the whole wheel, instead of being symmetrical and like that wide, it's the whole wheel's pushed over here. So the bearings are sitting offset kind of over here. And that just allows for more grinding space. So it's like buying a wider truck. They're so good. It's interesting because they stick out, but it's like you just size it with your truck. So then the truck and wheel ratio becomes very important. These wheels are going to be my wheels. Woo! Offset, symmetrical board, asymmetrical wheels. Come and get it. Bearings, bone Swiss only. I do not use bearing spacers. I just don't. Oh man, what are they for?
See?
I have mini logo bolts, 1 inch, Phillips. Always Phillips, because like my rail screws are Phillips, and I just like to attack everything with the same screwdriver. I do appreciate Allen though. Grip tape, mini logo grip, bro. I'm on the mini logo train. I love their stuff. It's actually awesome. It's like not that.
Oh, their shit
it's not
works.
too grippy, and it's not slippery by any means. But one thing that I really like about the mini logo grip is it's forgiving on my hands. And if you rely on your hands for your tricks, then you just end up with bloody fingers. You know what? I used to always rip my grip tape, and then it used to always be on the right side. So when I look down at my board, it would be a stripe right here. But with the symmetrical board, my whole thing is eliminating anything that identifies one side from the other. I love it. It's just perfect for what I'm doing right now. It really fits my skating, what I'm trying to do. That's my board, dude. Skate 1. Kind of been riding the same thing forever. Switching size took some time, dude. Like, if you're riding my old board and you want to try this one, like, give it some time, because it is weird to adjust to, and they have different intentions in them. So, like, don't feel bad if this one's not for you, or vice versa. It's just, they're not the same. They're not supposed to be the same. Pick what helps you in your journey for skateboarding.
This is the most autistic way to describe anything about skateboarding. Like, I'm just like, yeah, man, whatever, it's cool. But yeah, it's been crazy watching him skate, because he has like that old school 70s and like 80s style of riding, and then watching him do like normal stuff that we did in the 90s and the 2000s. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, well, I just ordered a skate whole setup here Friday. Better fucking be here. I'm gonna put together and then probably not skate it, because I think it's supposed to rain until like Saturday. I haven't looked at the weather in a bit. Check. Bro, I don't believe Orlando is super hot for the time of year. Okay, I just don't. You're sitting here telling me it's 86 there. Yeah, I don't see that as very high for the... Saturday, there's a chance of rain. During the day. Not necessarily gonna rain, but it says it could rain. We'll see what happens after the next couple days. Because today, or tomorrow, it's supposed to rain all day. Thursday, I think it's supposed to rain in the morning and then turn into fucking thunder. Friday, it's supposed to be thunderstorms on and off all fucking day. I know, it's thunderstorms in the morning and occasional showers in the afternoon. I'm not taking a new deck out to get wet. Okay? You just don't do that. Do you, Dustin?
Nope.
I can just get the old deck, though, because that's here, too. That's going to be David's. I'll get him an actual deck. A new deck here shortly, because he likes the wider decks. He's got a 7.5, I think, and he's like, I think it's too skinny, because he was riding mine, and he's like, I think I need a wider deck. I'm like, well, how wide do you want to go? I'm riding an 8. I ordered an 8.25, 8 to 825 is usually what I skate. 825 I think is my favorite. The widest board I ever rode was a 10.9. So the front end was 10, the rear was 9. It was an egg shape like he was talking about. It was a Pal Peralta board too. I wanted to do some old school stuff, which I started doing, and then I stopped that. Because you know why? Because Dustin started doing old school stuff. Like when you started doing old school ollies and shit, I was like, I'm done with this. Not even kidding. That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, it was like this. This was the shape right here. Right. This was the deck that I had. I'm pretty sure this is a 10. That's a 9. Yeah, 9, 9, 10. Close enough. They have any 10 egg shapes? Yeah, they do. Oh, I guess Valele's riding one? Holy shit, dude. That's crazy. It's not quite 10, though. That's wheelbase. What the fuck am I clicking? Not quite a 10, but 10.9. Oh, there's 10s. Like, who's got 10s? Riding 10. Caballero has a 10. Bucky Lasix rocking a 10? That's crazy. I think that skateboarding has hit such a mainstream of people that people are now like tired of like, it's like our style of skating is right now the mainstream, right? Late 90s, 2000s style of skating. So that's like crazy street skating stuff. Minus the gaps. I'm talking about the tricks and like the way they do lines and stuff. So now everybody's trying to get away from that. Because it's just predictable. By the time it was like, I think the only reason it stuck around is because it was like, it was go big, right? And then once it got, because that was all 2000s and 90s skating was. Like, it was just go big. Go big. Go big stair set, go big rails, go big flip tricks on ramp and stuff. Spins, go big. All that's just go big. But now we have things like street skate skating leagues, things like that, where they're just doing that constantly. So now everybody's trying to get either there's going to be two things that happen. Either they're going to come up with a different style of skating altogether, or they're just going to mix the all three styles. There's really only three main styles. Yeah, there's some newer stuff. It's not like, it's just mostly newer tricks though. It's not really like different from the 2000s, late 90s and 2000s, or the early 2000s. So since it's been so like, it's parks are designed for it now. Like it's not like it used to be. So I have a feeling that in people like Andy Anderson and a few others, Mike Vallely, they're going to be starting to get real famous again inside this. Well, Andy Anderson's probably one of the most famous skateboarders right now because he just like, knows how to do everything. So, but like I have a feeling that like once street skating leagues and stuff like that, street league skating or whatever the fuck it's called, SLS, hits its maximum, it won't necessarily decline. It'll fluctuate, maybe get a couple more maximum here and there, right? But I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to move to different styles of skating because it's so... I don't want to say corporatized, because it's not that it's necessarily corporatized. It's just so basic now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, everybody knows how to do that stuff. It wasn't new, like, when we were skating, right? Like Rodney Mullen invented, like, half the flip tricks in the 90s, and then everybody started doing them. They were new in, like, the late 90s. They weren't new. But they were kind of new still. Like, there hadn't been a decade plus of just kick flips off of stair sets. Shit like that. You know what I mean? There just wasn't that. And there was a decade of that. And now it's so normal that, like, even when they try to change it up, like doing stuff upstairs, now people are doing like 5 sets up. Because there's only so much you can do with that kind of skating. And you can add other styles of skating in with it, but you can't, you know what I mean? You can't, like, inventing a new style would have to get away from stay away from the 70s, like, kind of dancing, footwork type stuff, and the 80s bowl stuff. And I don't know where you go after that. If you're going to make a whole new style of skate. You know what I mean? Thanks for your input, Dustin.
What?
Did you even hear what I said?
I just didn't hear what you asked.
I didn't ask anything. I said... I kind of was trying to shoot it over to you to say something, not just me talking about it. But I don't know. I told Dave maybe he should do some old school stuff in the 70s and stuff like that. But it's really up to him. Those aren't easy. I mean, everybody's used a little bit of everything in the 90s. Like, everybody, you know, is doing bowls and, like, some old school skating stuff, like, reverbs and stuff. That comes from old school skating in the 70s and shit like that. It just wasn't called a reverb because it wasn't used in the sense of a drop until probably the 80s. I don't know when the reverb hit. I want to say like either mid to late 80s. But I don't know for sure.
Can't see anything.
I want to see this.
Exposure's fucked up or something. It's not working.
Is this your first time using this camera?
Maybe the second time, but dude, why I can't see shit. Dude. Wait, hold on. It's super bright.
The lens cap is on.
Andy, what are you grabbing down there? What do you got? Oh, dude. You're digging through your pockets. Dude. What do you got in your pockets?
Yeah, just let me pull this out of my pocket here.
What are we doing out here?
Here's a question for the viewer. Did George Powell just reinvent the wheel?
you mind if I plug these wheels?
Yeah. What? Okay.
I'm gonna plug these wheels.
Okay, but what's
You mind? I'm a plug.
But what? I mean, they're wheels. Yeah.
Yeah. These they reinvented the wheel recently. They just came out with these like 2 days ago.
Okay. What is it?
They're called Dragons.
So, about 2 weeks ago, Andy Anderson was on our show, on the Experience show. And he gifted us these Powell Peralta Dragon wheels.
They're 93A and they slide.
Okay.
So you can like skate around Venice. And
They're
it feels
soft
like
enough to skate, but still...
They slide.
They still slide.
And it's trippy because the rougher the ground, the slicker they are. So like...
What?
If you're on like your part, like, what's that, asphalt?
Mm-hmm.
It's like insane.
So, I tried the wheels. And they fucking are insanely good. They're so insanely good that I actually felt the need to be like, hey, we need to do a video review or a testimonial. So right now this is kind of a testimonial. Skateboarders are usually really against trying new things. And I strongly advise you, please go try these Powell Dragon wheels because they will.
We should have got those,
your
huh?
fucking way of skating and your way of life in some weird fucking spiritual way.
I mean, you're not wrong in that at all.
Right?
Did you pause the video? I can't hear you. I can hear that you're talking, or see that you're talking.
Get muted. How did I just get muted?
There you go.
I didn't click anything. Restream just had a shit fit. Changed my audio input. And fucking muted me on the source.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Guys up here, hit up Samuel. Pure entertainment, that guy. He'll sing the whole way, and just fucking, the vibes are high with that dude.
It's crazy. So with softer wheels, they tend to vibrate at lower frequencies. So like harder material makes a higher frequency vibration. So when you have a hard wheel, it's like kind of like it's like a rock, you know what I mean? But when you have a soft wheel, it kind of like grabs, throws.
Right.
Kind of skips. So this is 10 years of George trying to make a high frequency low like high frequency soft wheel.
And he's found it. It's working.
Dude, it's kind of berserk.
The main thing for me was just like, I could skate longer. Like, and they're fucking fast as shit.
That was what tripped me out at first. I jumped on board, I was like, holy fucking shit, dude.
It literally felt like I was on my fucking filmer board, going down a hill.
Dude, George he's a genius.
For real. Like, all right, George Powell, he's been innovating since the 70s, and he literally just he just changed the fucking game. They're super smooth. Like, you feel like you're riding like a normal cruiser wheel. If you've ever ridden a cruiser wheel, you know they don't slide. These fuckers slide. And it's a different slide. It's not like a bark slide that most skaters are probably like used to and love. It's like a really smooth, controlled slide. And I think once you master it, fucking game changer. These wheels are a fucking game changer. I never had a fucking product ever affect me the way, like maybe Tensor Mags, like I was like, yeah, tension mags are sick. But these ones literally changed the game. It's like back in the 70s when the Kryptonics wheels came out, and everyone was riding Kryptonics because they were the best shit. Guaranteed by the end of this year, everyone will be riding fucking those Powell Dragons.
Just 2 years ago.
You think somebody's gonna reverse engineer them and then start trying to make their own?
Good fucking luck. I could see like going into the skate shop, and half that case is gonna be filled with Powell Dragons. The rest is just gonna be whoever else makes wheels out there.
If people are willing to give them a try. Skateboarders are pussies when it comes to that kind of shit. You already know.
All right, early adopters, go try these wheels. You will not be sorry. If you fucking don't like soft wheels and you don't like the way, they're not for you. Don't ride them. Like, have your fun little 3-hour session where we'll be skating for like 6 to 8 hours.
I guarantee you, anybody over 30.
That's what was the key to my skating, was the softness of the
and
wheels.
This is not a paid advertisement at all.
We'll give it the roll test.
Now, the thing is, that was the key to my skating, was the softer wheels. Because mine were around 90. But if it's a 93, and if these ones don't slide as good as my old ones, then I might try these.
Oh, wow. That's straight.
Pretty good.
Dude, fucking Lucero rode my board and he was like, holy shit.
Right?
He was tripping. Like, he was tripping.
Dude, all right, camera up, fucking guaranteed every skater who tries these, it will never go back to a regular wheel. You'll not want to go back. Serious. Dude, I wish these were around when I started filming, because I would have just skated these. Do you want to skateboard with me?
No, I got my Crocs on, dog.
This dude shows up with his board.
Well, I had to roll over here on something. And, and I got these wheels.
You show up with your board. You're actually riding them.
Have you heard of these wheels yet, dude? They're insane.
Oh my God, I'm not wearing half caps.
What?
I had fucking left the house wearing my fucking like chillers. I literally don't know what to do. I'm still worked up about talking about the wheels. This wind kind of sucks. Hey, what wheels are you riding?
Spitfires.
What durometer are they? Huh? What hardness are they?
Oh, they're the soft wheels.
Are they?
Yeah, they're so nice. I love them.
Can I give you a set of wheels to try?
Of course you can. What kind of wheels are we trying out today? Ooh, these are nice. Whoa, check these out.
You film him, I'm gonna skate, Mom. What's your name?
I'm Jerome.
Roger.
Roger, nice to meet you, Roger. Oh, Roger, I know Roger.
Hey, this guy knows.
Oh, I know that guy looks familiar.
Why am I leaning that way? God damn it. I'm like arched like this, like a total wave. How are those wheels coming along?
It's coming along.
All right.
They feel great.
You feel great?
I love them. It feels so much faster.
Nice.
So much. I can slide again. I can move quicker.
Your last wheels you couldn't slide, right?
Huh?
Your last wheels you ride, you
Yeah, I
couldn't
couldn't
slide?
slide them. Yeah, I was just, because they're soft wheels.
Yeah.
So I was like, nope, no sliding. So I guess I'll just go with them. But these ones feel great. Now I got my inner Nadas, and now I got the inner Steve Caballero coming out.
It's channeling, dude.
Yeah, it's channeling right here.
Fuck.
Hey Siri, FaceTime Andy Anderson.
Making a FaceTime call to Andy Anderson.
Andy Anderson.
He answered.
Hey, what up?
You must be in a place with no internet.
Oh, yeah. No, my phone's just stupid.
Oh.
Am I cutting out for you?
No, you're good. Here, talk to Raj.
Hey, what up, Raj?
Andy, we did a quick little testimonial about the Dragon wheels.
I really like your hat with the
beautiful.
and we're trying to call you earlier in hopes you were with George, just to say.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, well, tell George he created the best fucking wheel made for skateboarding. Hands down.
Dude, amazing. I love that. I love that you agree.
Yeah. And
we're all riding them over here.
What sold me was I was skating here at the beach on Friday, and normally I cap out around like 4 or 5 hours of skating, like solid skating. I was here fucking till like 8:30 at night. I skated 8.5 hours. And like I felt great.
Way.
Yeah, I felt great. I didn't feel weird, worn down or anything. That's why I was like, dude, people need to know about these fucking wheels. It's psycho.
Dude, that's amazing.
All right, Raj. Feeble shove it.
Ha!
That was amazing.
Thank you. Shit!
That's crazy. I should have bought those. I didn't know those were a thing.
Clip I've ever
but
filmed.
mine slid pretty good. At least
That was
the way I
didn't know
rode.
what I was shooting.
I don't know about everybody else, but
It's gone. Look at him go.
hopefully
get
these
your
go
ball,
well too.
Raj.
If they don't, if I don't like them, I'll probably grab those. Oh, he made the nano cube. Cubic. Maybe I should have got those. I don't know. Wheels are a weird thing. Because, like, once you have a set, you have them for so long that it's like,
all right, guys,
you don't
we
want
have
to
a very
trade them.
special
You know
video.
what I mean?
These are some new wheels that were
Right.
designed completely by this man.
Yeah! My wheel's finally being available soon.
Yeah, dude, you've been working on these for years, right?
Yeah, I've been wanting them for about 12 years, and I've been working on them for about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Damn, that's so sick, dude. I'm super happy for you.
It's so sick, dude. It's hard to explain because this wheel literally does stuff that no other wheel does, which is why it's necessary. I'm not just trying to make a wheel to have a wheel, you know what I mean? Like, there's tricks I want to do that I can't do with any wheels on the market right now.
Yeah.
So sometimes when there's a need, when there's a void, you gotta work to fill that void, you know?
So you're inventing a new wheel.
No, I'm not inventing it, but it's just not available on the mainstream market.
Yeah.
Or,
okay.
Or maybe, I don't know, invention's a hard word to use.
Okay. So you're basically taking ideas from other wheels that are kind of available, but not really.
Yeah.
And putting it all in one.
Combobulating a bunch of other wheels that I like into something that doesn't exist yet.
Awesome.
Running 52s at 97A.
Okay, let's talk about these.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
So first thing, they stick over the axle.
So that means that no matter what, they're always going to be perfect.
Yeah, like your axles aren't really going to get hit.
It's way down there too.
It's so nice, man. And what that allows you to do is coconut wheelies. You cannot do a coconut wheelie, which is when you're riding like that. You cannot do a coconut wheelie without wheels that stick over the axle. So check this out. They are extremely offset, which means that the bearing seat isn't in the middle of the wheel.
Yeah.
And that allows me to play with the different sidewalls. So this inner sidewall is so shallow and close to the bearing that you get more grind space compared to other wheels. And if I was to make it symmetrical, it would just be such a skinny wheel.
So skinny.
To make that amount of grind space available.
I know, look at that. The bearing's like right there.
It's right there.
So you get to use your entire truck.
You get to use your entire truck. And it locks in super good. It's got the lock-in cut. It's actually crazy. It's like, because I've gone through so many renditions of this wheel.
Yeah.
In the past, I had one that was more rounded, and the difference between it being more rounded and cut like this is unbelievable. Like just like hanging onto curbs, hanging on the ledges, it's like having little fingers. But the other side, being rounded, is the opposite. It rolls up and climbs up walls. It climbs up curbs.
So that would be good for
any ledge trick, rail trick. It's good for getting into stuff.
Slappies.
Slappies for sure.
We're gonna show you guys some of those here.
Oh my God, wall rides all day. Like, there's nothing to hit but wheel now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because normally if your axle hit, it just like, it's so much friction. It just makes you stop. It's like, and you hear it when it hits. With these, it doesn't make that crazy sound. It just sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just wheel. Okay, here's my hater stuff. You can edit this out or not. Why are wheels symmetrical? Why are wheels symmetrical? Why?
Because they look cool?
Because in the 80s, wheels used to cone. They were super low quality.
Oh.
They used to cone in flat spots so people would flip them.
Mm-hmm.
But like, dude, it's been so long since that's been a problem. Sure, your wheel gets smaller and you gotta rotate it or whatever, but like, wheels should not cone, and they don't really cone. Like,
anymore.
That used to be a problem.
Yeah.
But the solution to that problem has become tradition more than necessary.
Yeah.
So that tradition, there's no use for it anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
it's old.
It's old. So let's move beyond that. Let's start playing with multiple options.
Working with something that's way more functional.
Yeah, it's more stable. It makes your truck feel wider. You can climb into rails, and then once you're on, you're locked in.
I'm so excited to see, like, with these wheels, the type of tricks you're going to be doing now that you couldn't do before. You know what I mean?
And dude,
that's really rad.
It's so rad. You know, this isn't just a wheel. This is like creating more potential in skateboarding.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important to me, is because now you can learn tricks that you literally couldn't do before, which involves coconut wheelies and stuff like that. And you're like, what's a coconut wheelie? How come I've never heard of that? It's because nobody has wheels that can do it, so nobody can learn it, so nobody can progress that entire aspect of skateboarding.
Yeah, there's so many, like you could literally, like, I mean, I don't know about today, but you could flip up to a coconut wheelie across a mani pad. Yeah, it's possible now.
And nobody's ever done that. The freestyle wheels that are available aren't the best formula urethane.
Yeah.
And these are the best formula urethane. Like okay, we've been talking about the shape.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about how it locks in, how it climbs up. But we didn't even talk about George's artistry of the urethane and how perfect this wheel is. So this is a harder Dragon formula. So it's the Dragon formula, which is normally 93A, and we made it 97. And what the 97 does is it adds more stiffness, so skate parks feel more normal, and the streets still feel a little softer. But I think it's the perfect durometer for everything skateboarding. And it was the standard durometer in the 80s, you know, but it's hard to make it slide. And that's the big thing holding it back. But that's why we got the dragons involved, dude. The dragon slide. Like, they work, man. It's hard to explain. I went to Machba recently, and I was doing these long nose blunts on the ledge, and this guy stepped on my board. He's like, how do you make these wheels slide? They're soft. And I'm like, try to like, and he's like, oh, I get it. Because they're not nearly as soft as the dragons. They feel like a hard skate wheel.
Yeah.
But they're not that hard. They feel softer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when I was skating them in Vancouver, it was a very interesting deal because I could still power slide around and like twist around, and it slid very comfortably.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
it was dope. But the rough ground still felt smooth.
Yeah,
which was awesome.
Some history for the origins of where this thought process came from is my favorite wheel when I was 15 years old was the Mini Cubic. And that is a Powell Peralta wheel, 97A, super wide, sticks way over the axle, to the point that they used to sell specific tools to get your bearings out, because it would be really hard to use your axle to get your bearing out because it's that far in. Super offset, and those were like standard street wheels in the 80s. Because of their size, weight, and shape, they slid really well. But when you make them smaller than a 60 millimeter and smaller than this wide, it's like they don't slide the same. Like, I wanted to use that same urethane, but it doesn't work, and it's taking this long to get a 97A to slide the way that it should.
Yeah.
To slide the way that the Mini Cubics used to.
Yep.
and that's in a new shape. So it's like a modern twist of one of the most iconic original skateboard wheels.
That's so dope.
The Nano Cubic. I was wanting to call it the Micro Cubic, and George hit me up. He's like, Nano Cubic, man. And I was like, how did I not think of that?
That
Like,
sounds so sick.
iPod Nano. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, we got this.
Nano!
Nanos.
That's so dope.
And dude, look how good that blue looks with the Reds bearings.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Like, I'm so hyped on that blue. And then check this out. We got the little dragon there.
Dope. Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, little dragon.
Sick.
And then we got my heron.
Oh, dope.
So that's like my signature on there, opposed to putting like Andy Anderson wheel. You put a little heron on there and like, if you know, you know. You
Keep
know?
it discreet and cool. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I love it, dude. These wheels are so dope.
I'm super hyped that these are finally becoming a reality. Do we know when these are going to be available?
No.
No, not yet.
No, I don't know an exact date, so I'm not gonna like spit something out.
But they're coming out soon.
Yeah, they're poured.
They're poured.
Yeah, they're ready. They're like printed, poured, and packaged, baby.
So whenever they are ready, we're gonna announce on Powell's Instagram or the channel or whatever.
But start right now.
Yeah.
Go to your local skate shop and be like, order these wheels, because that's what happens. Is if the skate shops don't order them, then they don't have them, and they need to order them before they come out.
Yes.
So.
See, after watching Andy skate them in Vancouver, because we were testing them up there, I was talking to Andy. I'm like, Andy, these are kind of the best all-terrain skate wheels available. You can do almost anything with them.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing thing, because so many wheels, it's like you can't do a lot with them. These are the right size, the right width. There's so much you can do with them that you can't do with other wheels. And mad props to you and George, dude.
Dude, it's so nice. And George is so fun and easy to work with. He's such a good listener, and he like helps me filter out my good and bad ideas, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He's such a good sounding board with response to like, what do I need? Like, this is what I'm looking for. What do you think about this? And he goes, I tried that in the 40s and it didn't work. You know?
The man who's tried all the stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, what if we made boards that were like different thicknesses for your weight? And he's like, that's how we started with Quicksilver skateboards. Like, I had all the different thicknesses, and you would have like different height and different weight, but like skaters weren't into it, man. And I'm like, here I am thinking I'm new, but that's like the oldest, schoolest idea of ever.
The way back.
The way back. And having that input, bro, dude, and just the font and everything's just ripped right off of the Mini Cubic.
That's so sick. That's really dope, because then all the OGs, they're gonna see it and they're gonna be like, ooh, you know?
Because the Mini Cubic is not realistic to ride, bro.
Yeah.
Unless you want to get trucks that are like this big. Because it sticks out so far, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you could have an 8-inch truck and a 10-inch board, and it makes sense with those wheels. Like,
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
sick, man. I think you nailed it with the explanation, and we'll film some skating and see how that goes.
Quick bullet points for your memory. The outer wall climbs up stuff, and the inner wall keeps you on stuff.
That lock-in.
Climb up, lock in. Sticks over the axle, so your axles don't get messed up. No more re-threading. This inner wall is super close to the bearing, so you have the most amount of truck possible to grind. So like skate more truck, which means that the wheels are spread out a little further, gives you more stability on the same truck. And bro, you can do coconut wheelies. Finally, for anybody. And there's a bunch of weird primo tricks like I'm not even that good at, because I haven't had these wheels for long enough to practice, but like you stand here and you kind of do that kind of stuff. Like,
Here, do it again. We'll get it.
no, I'm not good at it yet.
Oh, okay.
I need these wheels long enough to practice that. Like,
Got you.
you know?
Yep.
And it's crazy how many renditions you go through to get the right one. And so many times I'm like, oh, you know what? This is close enough. No, we have to make it perfect. We have to make it perfect. And the guys in the shop are like, dude, come on. Is this the one or not? And I'm like, no, we need to make this like this lock-in wall, man. This lock-in wall. I'm not going to lie. I thought it for a fashion contest, I thought it looked a little better rounded, but it's not as functional, and I couldn't freaking bring myself to put out something that I wouldn't be extremely 100% stoked on.
Yeah.
All the way through.
I think everyone's gonna appreciate.
I want to make a
that
skateboard.
that much
I'm
time
not
and effort
kidding.
into them.
But I think it's time for me to get off because I'm here for a bit and I'm tired. It's also 12:30. So we'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching and peace out.